Hi, you're right. Welcome back to Health This Week. Identity is our topic today. So, we're going to be looking at what you guys do to try and form your own identity in adolescence. And a lot of that is with experimenting. So, sometimes, I used to sort of say to my kids that have gone through those teen years, but you used to love playing soccer. Like, what's going on? Or you used to love drawing. Why is it so boring now? And this is all part of just trying to figure out who you are and where you fit into the world. So let's have a little look. How do you see yourself? So the primary goal of trying to form an identity is to develop a clear sense of who you are or of self. It's a time of trying different roles out in a variety of settings and evaluate responses. So, sometimes you might be hanging out with a group of friends at school and you'll act in one way, and then maybe at youth group, you might have a completely different group of friends and you try acting in a different way, and then you may have another group of friends that you know from somewhere else, and maybe they have different values to you and you feel like you have to be different again to fit in. So the whole idea is that you explore different things like ethics and your spirituality and interests and ethnicity, and all of this helps put little building blocks together, I guess, to work out a set of values and views of who you are. So, all through childhood, we pretty much just take on whatever our family believes. And then as we hit those teen years, we start to kind of have ideas of our own and thoughts of our own and come up with our own set of views and values that feel right for us. So, social identity, how other people see you. When I was growing up, we didn't have the internet, so we didn't have this whole online world to worry about. So the social identity that I had to deal with as a teenager would have been just who I saw and who I hung out with. So whether it be at school or at church or, with our family, with our cousins. So this is constructed from other people's feedback about how we look and how we behave. So sometimes people are critical about what you're wearing or, what kind of shoes you've got on or how you've got your hair tied up. And this often differs from our self-identity. So society doesn't value all identities equal. Adolescents have a strong desire to fit in or belong during these years of identity formation. And this is something I love about my eldest daughter's school and where her older sister went as well, that they don't have a uniform. And I know some of you will be going, oh, it's so not fair. But, this is a inner city school that is a public school, but also they have a Steiner stream, which is a bit of an alternative style of education. And they have an incredible culture among their school that individuality is really embraced and accepted. And maybe that is partly because there's no uniform and it's pretty trendy kind of area. But I know when my eldest Hannah started first going there, I was a bit worried about what she was going to wear and what people were going to say. And she came home and she's like, Mom, everyone wears whatever they want. Like some people are just in trackies and a hoodie. Other people, get really dressed up, and everyone's accepted for who they are. And I think that is amazing. Considering she come from, like a private girls' school where everyone was really critical about what, how they were, how their hair was done. It was a refreshing change for her. So similarly, I guess, in an online world, whom do you want to be? Now, it's pretty easy just to kind of upload a photo and just say, this is what's going on. However, we have to be really cautious about what we do post. So let's just read what we're talking about here. An online identity is created for interacting in online communities. So users choose whether they want to use their real names or be anonymous or use pseudonyms or avatars even. Online identities can actually be really good for those that are a bit socially awkward or find it really hard to socialize in the real world, face-to-face. It allows for some experimentation, increase self-disclosure, and offer self-validation and social approval. I guess we have to be careful that we're not being fake. So we'll get to that in a minute. So you are in a generation where apps are, like your best friends. Most adolescents now have multiple online identities that exist simultaneously, and that can be actually really stressful to navigate. They're competent digital natives who navigate many different sites and communication mediums. You probably would run rings around me for doing all of that. Different sites and different mediums have different audiences. So like a big, broad audience, when this kind of thing started would have been Facebook. Now, Instagram or TikTok or what's the other one you guys use a lot? Snapchat, have become those kind of platforms. And then a narrow audience because you're just specifically sending it to either one person or a group of people. So I've actually put on Schoology a couple of forms for you to fill in. One is about your online identity and the other one is about selfies. So if you wanted to kind of pause this now and do the online identity, you can have a go at doing that now. Let me see if I can find it for you. Here it is. So I guess want you to think about, who am I just normally, and then who am I online? Because as you might think, oh, what's it really matter? As you get older, it really does start to matter who you are online. Because if you're starting to apply for part-time jobs, employers actually even look up things online now to see what you post, to see whether you've got integrity, to see whether you're, a person who values respect and kindness and all those kind of things. So have a go at this. So here it says you can use a range of images, colors, symbols. So you might do some emojis here, or even on the online one, you might do something over on differently here for just your self-identity. And then 10 words to describe each. And if you get stuck, start with 5 or 6. If you get to 10, fantastic. If not, just leave it. And then compare, actually you don't need to do that bit because I think I've taken that off on your copy that's on Schoology. All right, so let's go back to identity. Next one. So this is something that was done actually a while ago, so it could have been changed quite a bit. But it said 74% of teenage girls surveyed, they agreed they use social networking sites. I would imagine that would be like 98% or something now. And they look cooler than they really are. So, there's a lot of photoshopping going on, especially in the celebrity world. And, we only see the very best of people online. Very rarely do you see the worst of someone. So selfies would be interesting. Wish we were in class because we could have a chat about, are they still like the biggest kind of thing that people do? But it's basically, obviously, you guys know, it's a photograph of yourself taken with your phone, usually up close of your head and shoulders. And then, often they've got the scenery in the background where you are, trying to capture everything. Again, I didn't grow up with this as a teenager. We had the good old camera, but you didn't take photos of yourself. You took photos of the scenery or of other people. So it's a completely different culture now. So there's obviously positives and negatives. It celebrates regular people. It boosts self-confidence, allows you to control your image online. But there are negatives to it as well. It strongly connects to self-esteem, to appearance. It promotes seeking approval from others. I think that's why, like on Instagram, I think they cut out showing you how many likes you get for particular photos and things because it was causing a lot of stress on people. And so selfies are easily taken out of context and misinterpreted as well. So there are over 80 million Instagram photos, #me. That was in 2014, so quite a while ago. So there's probably more now. And you just have to remember online, some friends are fakes. So not everyone who is online say who they are online. So, we've all heard about that, people being predators, and you just have to be really, really cautious because it's pretty easy to pretend you're someone that you're not online. And the dangers of that is that, there's deception and manipulation of friends. People talk with no accountability. obviously we've heard about cyberbullying and trolling and, you know, identity theft and predators and all of that kind of thing. So, you know, there's good reason why we need to be cautious as well. So the other form I was going to show you is this one. So positives and negatives of a selfie culture. So identify a few positives and a few negatives. And then down here, it says to discuss the impact. Oops. I don't know why I did that. That each of these can have on issues for adolescents. So self-esteem, how can that impact your self-esteem? So it could be that people make negative comments. Same with body image. People might take things the wrong way. Or if no one likes it, you might kind of go, oh, it must be because I'm not looking good in that photo. And then this one would be a really interesting one for you to look up. So narcissism. And I'm not going to talk about it too much. We might talk about it next week. But, you know, it's a term that's around a lot, especially with psychologists. And there's definitely an increase in this in our generation coming through. And, you know, posing that question, is the selfie harmless fun, or is it a society of a narcissistic generation? And it's more than just being self-centered. It's pretty serious kind of thing. So here you could even have a go at drawing yourself on the screen to annotate the features of the image. Should be quite interesting to see what you put on there. Or you could take a selfie and send it to me of, you know, like something that might be a positive selfie that could be uplifting, and then if you wanted to, you could even do a negative version of that as well. So all the best with having a go with that. But I guess, you know, it's really important to just take a step back sometimes and have a think about what you're putting online. You know, something I've always said to my daughters is, if grandma wasn't okay with looking at that photo, you shouldn't post it online. Grandmas tend to be a little bit more conservative than what you are, especially as a teenager. But, you know, and especially as Christians, we have a responsibility to make sure that we're respectful with what we post online. And to remember that once it's there, it's always there. And I know you might go, oh, but I can delete it. It's still always out there. And someone could have screenshot it and passed it on. So just things to have a little good think about while we're at home, remote learning, and on our computers and devices a lot. All right, have fun. Bye.